how I see the AI agents working is to coming up with ideas, ideation. For example, like feeding them with I need to do a campaign in Dubai and being able to figure out data and analytics that's already there.
Are we on that verge where AI is shifting from being a tool to a fully autonomous creative force that is going to be capable to do independent decision making? Where is this going?
I think the person that writes the prompt actually has the IP of what the content is. So I think that's where it is. But in terms of whether, how AI is going to take ownership of the IP, I don't think I have any comment on that at the moment, because I still feel that could be a little bit unclear.
So Kathy, you're building these AI agents that are working in this creative industry. How do they work actually? How, when you bring a customer, and to work with them and create all this new stuff, how does that work?
So think of it as like they're your digital assistants with brains. And we can train this brain, and we can actually empower the brain, and soon enough it has decision-making abilities.
Welcome to the Tech4Sight Podcast. I am Diana Daniels, working right at the intersection of telecom, blockchain, and digital inclusion, these three forces that are shaping the future of technology and business. And I am also your host here at the Tech4Sight Podcast, where we are exploring where the technologies are shaping tomorrow and what it takes to lead through them, from AI to blockchain to deep tech and digital transformation. We go beyond the hype to uncover real impact and the future ahead. And, the world is buzzing about one single thing, and that is AI agents. In January at Davos, they were all the hottest topics about it. Then in February here at the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, the conversation was dominated about AI agents. And let's be honest, some say that the AI agents are like teenage techs. Everyone is talking about it, but not everybody's actually doing it. And not even everybody understands what it is about. So definitely AI agents have taken that center stage where either composing music, designing visuals, writing content, and even launching brands completely from the get-go. And to break this down, I'm thrilled to welcome Kathy Sheehy. She is someone that has been at the heart of both creative industries and AI-driven transformation. Kathy is the co-founder of KittyKat, and which is an AI-powered visual specialist company. And she is also the chief creative officer at Thirdspace, a company that is redefining how creatives works in the digital age. She has built platforms, studios, and communities that empower designers, storytellers, and digital creators. And now she's right at the forefront of how AI is reshaping the creative economy. Thank you, Kathy. Welcome to the Tech4Sight Podcast. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you. I didn't realize that sitting next to you at the Barcelona conference has brought me here today to talk more about digital agents. We were sitting next to each other, but an honor to be here and very excited to share more. So take it away, Diana. You want me to share more about digital agents?
Yeah, listen, we've seen this AI evolve from the simple automation to something that I believe that is getting more complex. These Gen AI tools like the GPT-4, Midjourney, Runway ML, they have already shaken up industries, but we are entering this phase where AI is becoming truly autonomous. What I was reading is that 30% of all creative production by 2030 will be done on AI. And what we're seeing, advertising campaigns, you are right in there. There's even completely purely AI-powered influencers like Lily Michela, who has now over 2.6 million followers on Instagram. So tell us, Kathy, where is this headed to? Are we on that verge where AI is shifting from being a tool to a fully autonomous creative force that is going to be capable to do independent decision making? Where is this going?
So I think like AI agents at the moment, we are not there yet, but I think there's a lot of training and learning to be done and a lot of test and learn. So think of it as like they're your digital assistants with brains, and we can train this brain and we can actually empower the brain, and soon enough, it has decision-making abilities. And I think at the end of the day, AI agents cannot work without human training it and curating it. So where it's going is, I think, the learning and the pace of learning is exponential. And basically, the AI agents can work with creatives to create some amazing campaigns and some great visuals and, how it's being used. But at the end of the day, I think the main decision-making process and the curation is still done by the humans. And I don't think it's ever going to go away. It may go away, but I won't see it in the near foresight. But what we're creating is a good combination between humans being able to use AI to exponentially grow what they need when they're using all these campaign materials. So that's where I see the future is.
Sheehy, and one of these biggest debates is whether AI is simply mimicking our human creativity and that is developing his own form of originality. When I was preparing for our conversation, I was reading this study that was reported by the Times where over 1,000 participants were asked to compare 50 poems by very well-known poets with 50 AI-generated poems designed to match their style. And the results were crazy. Most people couldn't tell the difference. And in many cases, they even rated the AI-generated poems as more authentic than those written by these literary legends like Sylvia Plath or T.S. Eliot. This, it makes me think that AI can sometimes outperform, if they can outperform even poets in perception, what does this really mean for creativity? It is clear that AI role in art or in storytelling is growing super fast. It's pushing us to rethink what it means to be a creator. But then, what do you think, Kathy, that AI will? Do you think that they will ever develop true creativity, or it will always just be a mirror of what we feed into it?
I think that's a difficult question, but at the same time, my perspective with that it still depends a lot on the prompt and what is asked of from the human to the AI, right? To the AI agents. So that's, I think, where the creativity is, where the human needs to come up with different prompts. And over time, the perspective and the learning, it will come up with the different answers. And through kind of correction, curation, and curing, that they can actually learn to become better and seeing which one is more creative and which one is less creative. But nothing could kind of come up without the right kind of prompts. So the prompts is interesting because everybody has different way of asking for what they want, and how the AI agents kind of react to it can be a little bit interesting sometimes because there's still a lot of hallucination and there's still stuff that is pulling from everywhere that may or may not be accurate. So that's where the is that I think the human is still very much involved in terms of the curation and the correction until it gets to a point where it can make the right decisions. So I think in terms of, accuracy, and there's still a lot of hallucination, that's the part that I think it's a little bit unnerving for us because it can go off and make decisions, based on what you feed it, but you don't really know what's going to happen. So there is a little bit of a black box within the AI agents. And that's something that you do a lot of test and learn, in my opinion.
So then this is a $1 question, because if AI, let's say, writes a book or composes a song or creates an ad campaign, who's going to get the credit and the paycheck? I don't know. Last year, the U.S. Copyright Office ruled that purely AI-generated art cannot be in theory copyrighted.
Correct.
Which means, that means that if you put something on AI-created content, anybody can use it, I believe, right? So, at the same time, you have these companies like OpenAI or Google that are working on ways to monetize this AI-driven creativity without this clear legal protection. So how do you think that's going to play out, Kathy? Will we need entirely new ownership models for this AI-generated creativity?
I think at the moment, once a human has edited the copy or the creatives, I think the ownership lies with the humans because they have edited and curated. So that's where it is going. But in terms of AI generation IP at the moment, I think the main IP actually drives back to the prompt. I think the person that writes the prompt actually has the IP of what the content is. So I think that's where it is. But in terms of whether, how AI is going to take ownership of the IP, I don't think I have any comment on that at the moment because I still feel that could be a little bit unclear at the moment.
It's too early to say, but and what if you think for a moment for the future, do you see another way of doing this, or the how do you think that we could fix it?
I have no idea, actually. I think the thing is that I think the ownership is maybe potentially the AI agents would have a certain IP around them, and then the decision making. But at the moment, it's still very much of a black box, and we have to really test and learn to figure out, what's the real.
How it's going to work it out?
How it's going to work? I don't have the crystal ball, unfortunately. We're still kind of like all on it, going. Same.
Well, we talk about this AI role on creativity, and I would like us to talk about people, the people that are navigating this space. And AI is disrupting these creative industries. I believe that it's also shifting what type of skills are more important in the workforce. I was reading, the World Economic Forum Futures of Job reports. They say that the top skills that are needed for 2030 are creative problem solving, AI literacy, and ethical decision making. So if you are advising today's young professionals or creative leaders, what skills you think that they should be doubling down in order to stay ahead on what this new AI-driven world is going to be?
I totally agree with the three characteristics or the 3 points that you just pointed out, because I think AI literacy is super important, because I think the base work will be taken over by a lot of AI agents. The kind of menial work could be taken over by AI. But I think being able to think creatively and ask creative questions and being able to identify what are the needs and being able to use AI as a collaborator together with AI to be able to get to where you want to is very important. But at the moment, a lot of people wouldn't have that skill set because we never had it before. Because if we get something done, we'll hire someone new, right? So now we have AI that can actually help you kind of do the work of, lots of people. But the way you ask for it, the way you think about a problem, and the way you work creatively is really important. So I think the most important is to have exposure on how to use AI to kind of get the work done for you. And I think being able to curate and question is really important, because last time was all about execution and doing the work. But now, if you got someone to execute the work, you need to be able to ask the question. You need to be able to curate. You need to be able to give it orders, to ask them to do what you want. So it's a slightly different skill set from last time, purely just someone telling you what to do and you execute, or you bring a team together to execute. But now you really need to be able to curate and ask the right questions.
So, Kathy, you're building these AI agents that are working in this creative industry. How do they work actually? How, when you bring a customer, and to work with them and create all this new stuff, how does that work?
So for me, how I see the AI agents working is to coming up with ideas, ideation. For example, like feeding them with I need to do a campaign in Dubai. It's launching a new hair shampoo and conditioner for women that are losing hair. What do I do? And this is,
Right.
these are all the parameters that I have. Can you tell me, what the market needs? What's the research? Like say in ChatGPT now they have the deep research function, and being able to figure out data and analytics that's already there. And how do I approach this? What are the possible campaign ideas? What are the creative ideas? So that has taken away a lot of work, legwork that I would have been normally doing to do research, reading papers and trying to figure out what the market needs, what the gap needs, what the size needs. All these things can be done fairly quickly at this point. And then it also gives me ideas. And so that's where I feel like the AI agents could be super helpful in to be able to do much more at a faster pace in more markets and understanding different geographical needs and campaign needs and different audiences at speed. And I just find that fantastic, fascinating.
And what do you think about the companies that somehow haven't yet incorporated some AI into their processes? How long do they have?
I think we are still at a very early stage, to be honest. I think, because there's quite a lot of unknowns, with AI agents. So I think for a large organization, for them to take on AI agents as a core, workforce, that could be quite risky at this point because we are still kind of in the unknown. So I think there's a lot of test and learn. I don't think it's going to be 10 years, definitely. It'll probably be less than 2 or 3 years that I'm sure a lot of companies have already incorporated, like, AI agents within their businesses if they can control the outcome. So I think a lot of businesses has used it for finance, in terms of, procurement, looking at, invoices or quotations. These are some stuff that if you put in the right parameters, it spits out what you need. You should be able to use the agents to help you do these tasks right away. But I think the ones that is more subjective, like creative, could take a little bit more time.
That's interesting because I believe that many people start using AI, especially on this creative, right? Like either to write campaigns or posts or creating these images and all that stuff. And now it's branching out to other parts of the organization. So what areas do you believe that, okay, I'm this entrepreneur or this legacy company that I want to start implementing AI into my company? Where do you see that I need to put it? Like, what is that low-hanging fruit that I should be taking advantage of?
For me, the low-hanging fruit right away is which are the parts of your business that has the most challenges and takes the most time. Say, for example, HR, trying to do job descriptions, procurement, trying to analyze quotations and stuff like that. Finance, trying to do data entry, and things like that. The menial work that needs a lot of human time that is kind of like can be done, repeatedly. I think all that AI can take over. In terms of like social media posts and campaign posts, I think it can do it, but whether it's on brand and is the voice consistent, then I think the team needs to take it to a different level because it can spit out a lot of content, a lot of social media posts, but whether it's relevant to your company, whether the voice is your brand's voice, and whether it's accurate, all these things has to be looked at because your team has to have the experience and understand what your company's brand voice is before they can make those decisions. So it's a lot more about curation rather than just generation. Generation, they play a ton, but you have to make that decision whether it is the right brand voice, it is the right brand look and feel, the brand look, whether does it reflect your brand. So I think that's important to kind of make sure that it is accurate.
Yeah, I will be very nervous to give the power, right, to an agent that yes, it fits, you feed it, but what about it starts posting stuff that not necessarily are the right ones for your brand, and then how do you control and manage?
Control, yeah, you have to start taking control of this, this agent that you don't know what is thinking. That's the thing.
That's the thing.
Yeah, don't know what's thinking.
Exactly. So let's play a little foresight exercise, and that I want you to share with our audience. We're going to do 4 trends that are going to shape the future of the AI-driven creativity, and 4 dreams that is kind of like your ideal vision of what AI-powered creativity should look like in the future. The challenge is that you hopefully will help us to answer each one with either one word or one phrase. So let's gonna keep it short. And this is
One
to
phrase.
see how either one word or one phrase, whatever comes to you first.
Understood. Okay, so for me, trends, I think hyper personalization is very important for trends in AI.
Okay.
I
Right.
think AI as your co-creator, no longer as your assistant, because I almost feel like now AI is like my assistant, not assistant, my co-creator, my partner. So I basically talk to it and ask it for ideas. And I think it can become a very good, partner in terms of co-creation. I think
Okay.
synthetic media and virtual influencers are kind of interesting because I think that's like, you can't really tell like the real creators and the AI creators coming up. So that could be interesting. The rise of, for me, I think businesses using AI versus AI first businesses, because I think there will be a lot of AI core business, AI powered creative businesses coming up, that their focus is AI driven business, if you understand.
Interesting.
So AI will lead the charge rather than a business trying to use AI. I think there will be a lot of AI first business. So AR businesses, I think that's where the core of the business.
AI hyper personalization, AI co-creator, and then AI first driven businesses. Okay. And the fourth
AI virtual influences that will be very interesting, I think. So I think these are the 4 main trends that I would go for.
So what you say, AI virtual influencers, a little bit like what we have with this.
Creators, influencers, ambassadors, and, being able to be interactive and doing storytelling and, selling your product. I think there will be the rise of AI influencers coming up.
So this is a trend. Beautiful, beautiful. Now let's go and look ahead. Imagine the AI role in creativity on 10 years from now. Let's push beyond what's already happening. And let's go to think what it will be your dream for, let's say, each of these topics, right? Let's go to think about your dream of AI creating something that, I don't know, humans will never could. What will be your dream?
I think it's possible. I think like my dream would be everything is possible with AI, but the only thing is what's scary. That's all, in terms of, for me, I think democratizing creativity, being able to, have AI be used by people to create different things and to be able to have a dream and I can create it, So it's no longer, there's the barriers of entry is being, taken away, that if you have an idea, I can create it because I can have my AI collaborator, my partner, to be able to help me create it. Like, I think now it's easier for a lot of businesses to be able to create anything they want, right? They can just, go in and say, I need a business idea for this. Can you come up with that? How do I execute this? Where do I do this? And I think it is already there. And now I think the next step is the execution, when you have the brains to help you think and do all the research. And then with the decision-making part, that it can go a lot further. And then the execution, I think there's a lot that can be done.
And what will be your dream for AI changing how humans experience this art and storytelling?
I always kind of feel like it could be like in the movies. It could be, it's no longer just, I don't think maybe not even the mobile phone anymore. There's no computers. Everything is just like, it's all we're in a simulation. We are in this, this world where, all these things just come up and, visuals are everywhere. So I don't know. I just kind of like feel like I don't even know will there even be a device? Do we even hold something? There will always be visuals because that's one of the senses of humans because we see. But how is this going to be presented? I don't know. So like, I'm just always figuring out, like, we are in the visuals business, and it's like, how would visuals be presented in the future? I don't know.
Yeah.
There could be a different form. How is it going to be?
Well, let's dare to dream. Where is 2025 now? Let's think that is 2035 already. So how are you going to present the campaign? You're in this creative industry. Like, what do you think that we're going to consume this?
I know. What form is it going to be? I don't know. So I'm still trying to figure out. It will always be something that we look at, but what form is it going to be? I'm still trying to see who is going to come up with the next, the next platform, the next way of consumption of visuals, like, consumption of campaigns. I don't know. I'm also asking myself that question. Are we going to still be relevant? I don't know.
What about, let's think about like TV. Do you think that we're still going to have TV in 10 years from now? That advertising? Yeah.
I know.
Because if everything is hyper personalization, it seems that we all are going to have our own.
Exactly. Our own world. Basically, our own world. We see what we want to see. Isn't that going to be beautiful? You only see what you see. Yeah, so it's going more of what you like and what you want to see, and the world is going to be like just super beautiful all the time. That's great.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Beautiful.
Although we will have less chit chats conversation or like, oh, did you see what happened on the TV today? Because each thing will be different for everybody, no?
Yeah, exactly. But then maybe it's like a choice. You have to walk out of your hyper personalization and go out back to the real world and come back into your own world. Maybe there's like different worlds that you can walk into.
Okay, so then our third dream, it's about let's talk about the creative economy. Where humans and companies will thrive on. What do you think 10 years from now will be about monetization? What are companies like yours are going to be focusing to make money?
I think, I think my dream, I don't know about whether it's 10 years, but I want to be like, seamless in terms of human and AI working together to create the perfect creative loop, so that we can have optimization, we can have scale, we can have authenticity, we have creativity, all being able to come together in an system. So it becomes part of the workflow, and that would be like, my dream. But I'm not sure if that's like, so far-fetched that it cannot happen, but that would be the ideal for me, to be able to work seamlessly together to create that perfect creative loop with human and AI. That would be the ideal situation for me. And then from there we could kind of like, tell, stories, with AI and humans and seamlessly work together, so that's what would be the ideal. And then the other one, the dream, is also to be able to adapt, visuals, like we said, personalization, but at the same time adapt visuals for personalization in real time. That would be to do. So basically in real time, you can see the visuals that is personalized for you when you want to see it and when the timing is right. So that also for me is very interesting as well.
This is super interesting because I guess that there's already kind of like a change also on the monetization of not only what is presented, but that how I'm thinking, right? Like how, for instance, magazines stop, charging for pages, through how internet is charging for clicks, and how commercials were charging for minutes or seconds. So there's it's kind of like this also in the future, how this is going to act not only on what do we charge for, but how, right? It's like in the conversion.
Yeah, you're right. The impressions, like, the click-through, the conversions, the engagements, like what do they charge for? That would be maybe, I don't know, like brand resonance, like, a lot of brands would probably want to kind of like capture, the brand resonance. Like, how do you resonate with the brand? Like, how do you, what are your, impressions of the brand? And I don't know that. But that all also depends on consumption and conversion, because at the end of the day, the brands, if they will
get paid.
yeah, they need to get paid, right? So there's a lot of conversions as well. But I don't know. It all depends on how it's being consumed. Because like I came from the print magazine world. That's how I started. I used to design magazines. And, obviously it's quite sad that magazines are no longer as relevant as they were before, right? And that I did some work in the QVC world as well, right? And that's also kind of like, is all moving away. So so it's just interesting to think about, where it can go.
Where it can go. Okay, our last dream is about what do you think is going to be that breakthrough where AI is going to be able to create with emotion and originality in 10 years from now? Do you think?
I think it can. The scary bit is I think with a lot of like training, and I think because of the decision making ability, I think it can learn a lot, and it keeps learning around the surrounding as well and what you feed it. So we are not there yet, but I think, in terms of, emotions and authenticity, I think it will get there from a lot of I know. But at the same time, I still think, whether it comes across authentic or not, like you said earlier, you got, the people were writing and they looked at some of the content and they thought some of the ones that were AI written was already thinking and feeling a lot more authentic. So it really kind of like, we have to see where that's going to go. I don't know. But I think it has a huge ability to be able to do that and mimic human emotions.
It will. Definitely it will. Kathy, we always like to start kind of like on the closing of this podcast in Tech4Sight by looking forward, but also I would like you to think about if you can go back and give an advice to your younger self at the start of your career, what advice will you give to her?
Bring it on. I said, bring it on, whatever the tech may be, just bring it on. When I first started in the print magazine world, it was film. So we were shooting. And when it was converting to digital, a lot of people were resistant. And a lot of the people I knew that were resistant did not move to the next level.
Yeah.
When I was doing magazines and print and paper and doing like typography and using, ink to print everything. And then when digital came along, the digital transformation of websites. And again, if the people were resistant to what it is, they were behind. And now it's the same thing, right? From digital, we are moving into AI. I feel like it's the same time as well. You need to embrace it and see where it's going to come and how do you use it to your best effort. Because I always believe that these are tools and they can actually help you. And if you're creative, you could use it the way you want it to. So I would totally bring it on, embrace it and learn it. I don't think resisting is going to be very helpful for your future.
I love this because I guess that, and this probably marries perfectly into my next question to you, which was, what is that piece of advice that you want to give to the next generation of leaders?
I think for me is a lot of it is about, embracing what's coming to you and being able to build the strength. So for me, is building the strength and confidence to be able to embrace the future. So not kind of like staying put. You have to constantly keep moving forward and embracing the future. So that's how I kind of would give my advice to, future leaders, because I just think standing still and being happy with where you're at does not put you in a competitive position. So things are always changing and moving, and you need to be going forward. So now with AI coming along, we have to embrace it and see how you can actually use it in different parts of your business. It's not about, we don't know anything, or it's, we're too scared and stuff like that. We really need to understand it and see how you can implement it, because if you don't learn about it now, the gap from when now to later, it's a much bigger step. So by looking at closer, I think you are kind of, compounding and learning a lot more new stuff as you go along. So I think embracing the future and being, having a good foundation, be able to, move forward would be where I will be advising everybody, including my kids. Embrace the people.
Totally. Kathy, this conversation has been a creative wake-up call for me, at least. And I believe that AI is already rewriting the rules of creativity. I would like to probably share with the audience my 3 takeaways. One is AI is moving beyond content generation to becoming an autonomous creative force. I guess that the next era is not just about AI assisting creativity, but also that AI will eventually make their own decisions, where they will help build brands and even shapes cultures. That's, I guess, very interesting. My second takeaway from our conversation is the future of creativity will be shaped by those who embrace AI as a collaborator, not as a competitor. I guess that the leaders and creators who are integrating this AI smartly will be the ones who will continue, as you say, in the next level or the next step. And my third takeaway is about these ethical and economic questions around AI-driven creativity are still shaping, right? I guess that either from who owns what or what are the risks. I guess that it's not necessarily completely clear, but it's going to be sure that AI creativity has to benefit everyone. So those are my 3 takeaways from our conversation, Kathy.
Excellent. Amazing takeaway. Thank you for kind of summarizing it. So yeah, I wonder if AI can do it better, or yours was better. I think,
well, you know what? I guess I need to start incorporating the summarize on, but they need to be really on real time. So it's going to be
exactly.
hard.
So maybe next time there might be a screen next to you that is like on real time and is like summarizing. It could very quickly summarize what I just said to you, right?
It's completely true. Yeah. We need to incorporate this. And look, I gotta say that your English has sparked so good, many good ideas. I really want to thank you for your vision of the future, Kathy. And as a wrapping up, I would love us to if you can share what message or advice you want to give to inspire the leaders in this creative industry to help them prepare for the future. One last message for them, Kathy.
I would say is learn to use AI.
Totally.
Learn to use it. Learn to use AI, and it can help you. And definitely not run away from it. Yeah, learn to use AI because it could be super helpful.
Absolutely. Kathy, this has been super stimulating conversation. Thank you for sharing your insights with us and the future of creativity, about AI, about ethics, about what is ahead in this creative economy. I really thank you for your wisdom, Kathy. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me here. I'm honored to have, answer some questions. I may or may not know the future, but I know at least what I have today. So I'm excited, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathy. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe to the Tech4Sight podcast for more conversations about how technology is reshaping industries, societies, and the future. Remember, the big question of today is, will AI always assist creativity, or is on his way to becoming the artist itself? Drop us your thoughts and tell us in the comments, share your perspective, and join the conversation. You have our LinkedIn page, or tell us on YouTube. Don't forget that you can watch this and more episodes of the Tech4Sight podcast on YouTube. You can listen to Apple Podcasts or Spotify. If you love this episode, please hit the subscribe button, leave a review, and share with someone that you believe is going to take advantage of us. Kathy, thank you again. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. It's been incredible having you And thank you for everyone listening in the Tech4Sight podcast. I'll see you soon. It's Tech4Sight.